Start on mute. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good beginning of summer and that it's nice weather where you guys are.
So good to see you all. Mia and I are in the New York City office,
which is really nice for us. And so Alex is going to start us off with an introduction to some things. And then I'm going to go through the list first, peace and love, and then eeBoo, and then a little recap of some of the stuff that has recently come in. So
thank you, Mia. Hi, everyone. We're so happy to have you all here today to review our new holiday line. We are recording this, so we'll share it out at the end of the meeting. We also love to hear your feedback, so please feel free to use the comment section. Liz and Ashley are here as well on the sales team, and they're going to be reading all your questions and addressing them. At the end of our meeting, we'll also have at least 10 minutes for additional questions and if we want to elaborate on anything. So we want this to be as interactive as possible. So all of this holiday product that you're going to be seeing will be shipping starting tomorrow. We have actually 2 new items shipping in or arriving tomorrow in our warehouse. The majority will be here in July. So really excited that most of this product is going to be at the retail stores before August 1st. So good job to our production team and to Mia.
Probably first time ever.
And also our new catalogs have been mailed out. So reps, you guys should have gotten yours a couple weeks ago. Retailers, this is what they look like. Hopefully they are sitting on your retail counters and you have been able to look them over. So all of this new product is in here. We're going to kick it off. And yes, please ask questions, be interactive. We want to hear from you, and great to see you guys.
So hi, everybody. So I wanted to just start out with a little bit about some of the initiatives we've had this year in terms of carbon footprint and doing things that flow into our sustainability message, which, as most of you know, 99.5% of our product is made with recycled paper, recycled gray board, and that we use vegetable-based inks, and that has not been a fad for us, but it's been something that I've done since I started the business almost 30 years ago. So I wanted to say that we've added a component, which is we've done a lot of research and used someone called the Climate Partnership to figure out what our carbon footprint of our office is and of our business, excluding the over water shipping, but all the expenditures of energy that we use as eeBoo, and that we have joined this partnership and that we are doing an offset program with that. We've also switched over item by item, but we're now almost completely through our line to use FSC paper on all of our product. We always used recycled gray board and vegetable-based inks, but now we actually use a FSC paper, which is a certificate that you pay for. It's quite expensive actually, because it's very, very well monitored and very well respected. And what that is a group that sources papers from parts of the world where they know that it's not the managing of the forest and the making of the paper is not doing any harm to the community that it's being made in, but it also benefits economically the neighborhoods and communities that it's in. So that's really, it's a wonderful thing. You see the FSC logo on things. It's really a sign of someone trying to do the right thing. We also have switched over. We're doing it incrementally. This is our bag. We're calling it the Good Green bag. This is a recyclable bag that we are now using in our puzzles, and slowly moving over all of our things that used to be in like a cello plastic bag will now be in a Good Green bag. So I wanted to point those guys out. In addition, I wanted to say that this is the biggest list we've ever done, actually. Seems strange in these very volatile times that we're doing the biggest list we ever did, but we really wanted to put a very solid, positive foot forward. And we feel very optimistically about our line. And so we've done 51 new products for this season, which is, like I said, a record. And we about half of that is peace and love and half of it is eeBoo. And out of the eeBoo line, we've gotten 15 new Oppenheim Awards. I also want to remind anyone that doesn't know this, although it's pretty obvious, that we are a women-owned business. We've always been a women-owned business. We belong to a group called WeBank, which is a certification which is also very closely monitored, that if you see on the back of a product, it means that it is a majority owned female company. So we're part of WeBank. And to point out a few new things about our puzzle, some of them are not quite so new, but I wanted to call it out, which is that we do something called the artist playlists. And the artist playlist, this is one of our new puzzles. The artist playlist is where we've asked the artists that do each of these puzzles, and as most of you know, those are emerging and established female artists from around the world. We asked them to make us a playlist that people can listen to on Spotify of all the music, or a playlist of the music that they like to listen to while they're working. And there are other companies that put playlists for when you're puzzling, which is really also very, very nice. But this is a very, I think, intimate little window into the lives of the artists themselves, of the artists. And I think our customers feel very invested in the art of the puzzles that we make. And I think that little extra bit of information, that intimate piece of information is really interesting to them. It's interesting to me. And because our artists come from all over the world, those playlists are great. So on the back, just if any of you don't know, there's a code and you scan it and then you can hear their list, which is very nice. And one small thing is we got a lot of comments from our puzzlers that they thought our paper was too thin, that we printed the pictures that people follow. So we've now used a thicker paper on the insert. And then of course on the back, it shows you all the different, lots of different puzzles that we do. So those are our kind of new initiatives for this year. So I'm going to go right into our Peace and Love line. And this one, which I was just showing you, this is a artist named Sarah Jarrett, and she's a wonderful collage artist, very talented, who lives in the countryside in England. And this is our first puzzle of the year. This one gets delivered into our warehouse tomorrow. It's called Theater of Flowers. And just to give you an idea, this is how big our 500-piece round puzzles are. And it's got tons and tons of beautiful detail. And I think everyone will like this. So that's the first of our 500 rounds. Then we have this one, which is Moths. This is by a German artist named Maria Over. She's a watercolor artist. This is Jennifer Orkin Lewis. She's a very well-established painter. She used to design a lot of things for Kate Spade. She's an older artist and, like I said, very well-established and well-known, and we do always well with her stuff. She did the Paris puzzle and lots of other things for us, the Women's March. And those are the 3 new round 500s. This is our new 500 square puzzle. And this one is called Garden of Eden. And this is also a collage artist, but she does, she's a fine artist and she does room size installations. And everything that she does is about conservation and ecology and the environment. This is Claire Borsch. She's an artist from Berlin. And this one, which we're going to show you because it's really beautiful and we hope you can see it, is printed with a beautiful blue, silvery blue background with tons and tons of detail. As any of you that do our puzzles know, I think we really understand very well what it is like to do a puzzle, and we try our very best with every puzzle that we make to make almost every piece to have something interesting on it that you can identify to make the puzzle an easier and more interesting puzzle to do. When we don't do it, like if we have a big area of a solid color, we definitely get complaints. So our customers definitely like a puzzle with a lot of interesting details, and we meticulously go over. When I commission a piece of artwork, I usually do a sketch, I send it to an artist, they send me something back, and then I show them the grid of 1,000 pieces laid over their sketch. And I say, when you're painting this thing, just make sure that you've got no more than 2 or 3 pieces with the same color in it. So that when someone's doing the puzzle and they pick up a piece, they will, if they're looking carefully and attentively, which puzzlers usually are, they have a place to put it. And that is not true of a lot of puzzle makers. And I think that's something that's special about eeBoo, and that shows that we care. Which is what I hope that it shows, that we care about the actual experience of doing the puzzle. So, and this is the other 500-piece square. This is by Linda Black, who is a great American illustrator. And this has just got tons and tons of detail and funny characters. And it's a holiday dinner. It can be any holiday, but it's a very nice mixture of people and animals. And I think this is a very nice one that could really be classified as like a family puzzle, but it's also, you could do it, anyone could do it. So now I'm going to move over to our 1,000-piece puzzles. This is a calendar of flowers, and it's a rough estimation of things that come up. Obviously, everyone lives in a different zone, but this is a rough estimation of when things come up. So there's snowdrops and blackberries. And this is by an artist named Kevin Hawkes, who lives up in Maine, who's a wonderful illustrator. And this piece of art was inspired by a set of seed packets from England, probably 1915. So it's an old kind of pre-World War I seed packet design. This one is called Pebbles. I probably should have called it Tide Pool, but this is by another Mainer. This is Melissa Sweet, who was one of my original illustrators. She recently won a Caldecott Award, and for those who don't know it, that's the highest award you can get for children's illustration. But these are all different seaweeds and mussels and rocks of different kinds. She also has a technique of using collage, but also pencil and crayon. So this is called Pebbles. This is a Monica Forsberg called Cats Around Town. Monica Forsberg, I love. She's also one of just my favorite people in the world. I love her colors. This one, I mean, I hope you guys can see it. You can definitely see it more detail in the catalog. But this is just a wonderful, lively town, and there's a whole bunch of nice little relationships going on between cats and birds, and it's kind of romantic, but it's very sweet. And I love the color pink. I feel like pink is just a great color for us right now. It's just cheerful and uplifting. So this is Cats Around the Town. We try to do as many things that trend, although it's hard to catch a trend because they go very quickly, but definitely mushrooms are trending. One of the ways we find trends is we meet as a whole company. Every single person at eeBoo meets and brings to the meeting many ideas about what they believe is trending and what they're interested in. And mushrooms definitely came up as one of our trends brought up by an eeBoo person, actually Liz, was on this call. And it's really true. Mushrooms just seem to be trending harder and harder each day. So this is a Northwestern artist named Kelsey Oates Seed, and she does these very meticulous kind of encyclopedic views of things. So like every kind of mushroom, every kind of crab, every kind of snail. And this is her mushroom rainbow. We've seen very good pre-sales for this one. Also a fun puzzle to do because you know where your colors are going. This is Blue Kitchen by Victoria Ball. She's an English artist. She did the wildly popular English cottage that we did last season, or maybe 2 seasons ago. I thought it would be fun to have kind of a narrative series in our puzzles. So this is called Blue Kitchen. And it is the kitchen of that cottage. And if you look at of that English cottage, so if you look out the window, you can see details that you can also see in the front of the English cottage in the other puzzle. But it's also part of our kitchen series, which I think is nice. So we had a yellow kitchen called Kitchen Chickens, which was a yellow kitchen. We didn't call it Yellow Kitchen, we called it Kitchen Chickens. And then we did Green Kitchen last year with Anissa McCool, which is really wonderful, kind of a Frida Kahlo-esque kitchen. And this is Blue Kitchen. So this is a series that we're doing because we found people like to do puzzles with kitchens. So that's Blue Kitchen. And this is the size of our Blue Kitchen. I don't know if you guys can see that. All I see is Larry on my screen. I see Larry like huge. I wonder whether we could like go back and see us guys huge. Not that I don't like seeing Larry huge, but then I could see better what it looks like. Whatever, our puzzles are very big. They're 23 inches by 23 inches. This is a new artist for us named Gabriela Larios, and she's from Ecuador, and she has a very lively folk style. Also, she uses cut paper and draws on top of it. And this one is called Equatorial Jungle by Gabriela Larios. This is Carolyn Gavin. She's a Canadian artist, and this is called Goddesses and Their Pets. She's the illustrator that did the positivity puzzle for us. She also does a lot of stationery products. She's very decorative, watercolor, very loose. And in this series of multiple portraits. There are beautiful women in all different colors, including green and yellow and pink, and their pets, snakes and cheetahs and cats and dogs and birds. So this is goddesses and their pets. This is another one that's part of a series, and we had a very, very popular puzzle a season ago called the Alchemist Cabinet. And it was a really fun puzzle to do because it was a cabinet with all kinds of things that you might find on an expedition, feathers and bones and sort of naturalist, artist, scientist, explorer cabinet. So it's by Vasilisa Romanov, and she's a very young Russian artist. So I thought it might be nice if we took the Cabinet of Curiosities, which is this room right here, and show the entire alchemist's house. So this is the alchemist's house and all the different rooms in the house, and it's a very old house. And one of the things it shows is the alchemist at many different times in her life. And I like it, and it's something I talk to the artist a lot about, is when you live in a very old house, you kind of feel the presence of all the different people that have lived there before. So it's not ghosty, but it's kind of past and future, and it's kind of the story of the history of this alchemist's life. So this is part of that series. And then for next season, we're going to go back in and we're going to do a whole puzzle of just her study. So this is Vasilisa Romanov. Another trend that came up, it comes up every season, but lately a lot, about hand sewing and quilting and rug making. So I did a lot of research into kind of unusual or just types of sewing activities that you don't see a lot. And obviously there are American samplers or English samplers that you see with little figures that little girls used to do in the late 1700s and 1800s, where they like practicing their alphabet and stuff. Well, the Dutch have a tradition of doing a little bit more figurative and a little bit more design. They're not quite as wild as this, but I gave the illustrator Anissa McCool a bunch of research of those Dutch samplers. And I said, do a riff off of this kind of sampler, because I think it's unusual and the American audience doesn't see it very often. So that's what Anissa McCool did. She kind of took some shapes and some objects and she wove it into this. It's called quilt Dutch sampler. And then I know that's a lot of puzzles, but I've got two new holiday puzzles that we've had just tremendously strong reaction to so far. We did Magical Amsterdam, and this is Amsterdam, one of those magical nights before the holidays when everybody's got their windows lit up and are walking around with bags and presents and food. This is Magical Amsterdam by Anissa McCool. And last, we have a Happy Holiday. Sorry, I just had to look because we wanted to make sure we don't call things the same name. This is a Happy Holiday, also by Victoria Ball, who did the English Cottage. And this is an little English town at the holiday, and there's a band. She's an artist that does adult themed things, but she also does a lot of children's books. And I don't know whether you can see it here, guys, but she has a tiger that she uses in her children's stuff that's so sweet. So I've been asking her to add this tiger into all the stuff she does for us. So if you can see it, the tiger is in here as the baker. And the tiger also appears in her next one, which is a continuation of the English, another view of the English Cottage. And then last but not least, these were two 100-piece puzzles. And we've been saying that these 100-piece puzzles are good for families because you can really do them in one sitting, but they're also really good for older people, like even older than me, like older, that may be having problems with their fingers, their joints, or their eyesight. So these are larger pieces. The pieces are actually quite large. I don't know how well, like I said, all I can see is Larry, so I don't know how large this looks, guys, to you, but it's they're bigger pieces, so they're bigger to pick up, they're easier to see. And this is Monica Forsberg, Under the Sea. And then last but not least, we did a really beautiful kind of redo of the Cats at Work. But this one is a holiday version, a holiday family puzzle, where we took the cats and we put a really beautiful matte gold foil. I'm not sure if you can see this, but it's really a dramatically beautiful puzzle. And we've found that we've done very, very nicely with this other foiled cat product we did, which was cat dominoes. So we think this one will look beautiful on a shelf at the holidays and makes a nice gift, a house bringing holiday gift. So that is the end of peace and love. So I'm going to move into eeBoo. So I'm going to move over a little bit here like this. Thank you, Alex. So I'm going to start with our more puzzles and then segue into the arts and crafts and the games. This is another Linda Bleck that we did, and it's called Love of Bats. And it's a new series that we're working on, which I'm doing to kind of call attention for kids and for adults to pay attention to animals that people think are kind of yucky or they don't like, but are actually very, very important to our ecosystem, like bats are. And actually, if you look at a bat, I mean, some of them are weird looking, but they're really quite cute. I mean, it's not great to have one in your house in the middle of the night, but they're really great. So this is Love of Bats by Linda Bleck. It shows you many, many, many different kinds of bats from around the world. And it's got a poster. First of all, this is how big our 100-piece puzzles are. In case you guys didn't remember, they're really giant. And I always say we don't put that they're giant on the box, but we really should because they're giant. So that's how big they are. And the Love of Bats glows in the dark. And the Love of Bats also comes with a really nice poster that you can frame or put up on a kid's wall. And in the poster, every single bat is identified. So if you have one of those kids that really likes to know the names and the names of everything, this is a very nice thing. So that's Love of Bats. And then we did Love of Bees. And even though everybody in the universe only gets stung by a couple, if they're lucky, a couple bees in their entire life, people are absolutely terrified of bees, but they're really, really important for pollination, and pollination is really important for all indigenous species and for all the food on Earth and all the beautiful things that we enjoy, like flowers. So this is Love of Bees, and meticulously researched, and the poster shows, just identifies a zillion different kinds of bees. So these are really, really nice. So that's a new series. So we've got Love of, and this is how big the Love of Bees is. Love of Bees. So we're doing Love of Bees, Love of Bats, and for next season, we're doing Love of Sharks. And if anyone else has an idea about love of anything else, please let us know. We were thinking of frogs and other things. So we only did one new 64-piece puzzle for this season, also by Linda Bleck. It's called Skateboarders. And this came also to a trend meeting. It was right after the Olympics, and everyone was very excited that the skateboarders were included. And then there was just a rash of Instagram and social media stuff about little girls that were beginning to skateboard, and which really was just a boys thing for a long time. And some of the little girls would do crazy tricks wearing tutus and very pink stuff. So this is sort of an homage to the girl skateboarders, although it doesn't just have girls in it, it's boys and girls. And just to remind everybody here, this is how big our 64-piece puzzles are. They're quite large, and this one's really detailed and really nice. And Linda Bleck, again, is just, she's a genius, and she really cares about what she does. And so every single inch is filled with detail and expression and color and art, and she's wonderful. Then we did two little 20-piece puzzles. We did both of them by Monica Forsberg. We did gardening, which is a little funny little lilac gardening bear, because we've seen such an interest in gardening that I'm sure will continue through this and summer, and will probably last in everybody's minds, because gardening, I think, is one of those things that every psychologist knows really helps your helps people's concentration and stability and happiness is to garden. It's just one of those wonderful activities. So this is gardening, and this is sorry, I forgot what this is called. Pets in Motion. Pets in Motion. I knew it had a great name. I love this name. It's called Pets in Motion, and it's really funny. It's very bold, and also Monica Forsberg, vehicles of all different kinds. And this is the size of our little 20-piece puzzles, which is not small at all, actually. The pieces are quite large, and the puzzle itself is quite large. So even though it comes in this little box, there's a lot going on here. The box is very full. So this is the Pets in Motion. Big pile over here. And also they're printed on the back. Oh, I was just showing you the garden one. You know, all of our puzzles are printed on the back, the children's puzzles, so they really have a lot of nice detail and color to them. So this is Pets in Motion. Oh, and then we have one holiday one, which is Skating Dogs by Melissa Sweet, an early piece that I commissioned for an advent calendar a long time ago, but everybody really likes this. And we find that we always sell out of our holiday things. So anybody interested in these 20-piece puzzles, let us know. So those are the new puzzles. This is a puzzle that came out last season, but I feel like last season got a little bit kerfuffled because of timing and shipping and other things. This is a puzzle by Linda Bleck called Good Deeds. And I'm sure I must have told most of you about this. You saw it in the last catalog, but it's really a wonderful kind of signature piece for us because it really, all of the art is little snapshots of people doing nice things for one another. So it's a lot of teachable illustrations to talk to kids about doing nice things for other people and empathy and helpfulness and good manners and good citizenship, a lot of the other stuff that we try to teach in some of our other eeBoo products. So I just wanted to show everybody this because based on that, we did a whole bunch of other product that was good deeds based. The first thing was a really nice, cute little miniature, that's not miniature, but smaller than our other memory games with fewer pairs. This is a preschool memory game. And it's got fewer pairs, so you can play it with younger kids. You can play our other memory games with younger kids, but usually 24 pairs is a lot for them, so you might take out 10 pairs. So these are 10 pairs to match, and the pieces are really funny and big, and they're shaped like this. They're like shaped kind of like a biscuit. They've got a cute little plaid on the back, and they're very thick, as all of our pieces are, but these, like with the kids, the little kids ones are super, super thick and very durable. And with this really nice art that all came from the Good Deeds puzzle. So that is, it's called Nice Animals Memory and Matching Game. And it just looks great paired with this Good Deeds stuff. I mean, one of our ideas was being able to make a whole bunch of product around a certain piece of art so that it would look nice merchandised on a counter together during the holidays or anytime. So we did a new tot tower, which we haven't done in a very long time, called the Good Deeds Tot Tower. And I really like this tot tower. They were ubiquitous. Everybody had tot towers for a long time. And then they kind of, I don't know, they kind of ploofed out of style. We've had some that have been in the line for as long as I've had a line. But these are really nice. These are good deeds. And on every square is another little good deed. And some of them, and the numbers on the top, nice, funny, nice numbers on the top. And some of them are really nice and they kind of wrap around. They wrap around. So if a kid is building this and your parent is sitting or an adult is sitting next to them, they can talk about each one of these images as they build it or as they knock it down. So it's a really nice opportunity to talk about what these animals are doing or what these people are doing and why that's nice. And the colors are beautiful and it's really nicely designed. So that's the Good Deeds stacking block. Try not to have it fall over. Can I have the other one? And then last in this series is a set of lacing cards. So we did lacing cards, a lot of them a long time ago, and we had stopped making them for a while, but they're one of these classic children's products. And they're very simple. They're just good for hand-eye. They're good for hand-eye coordination. And my kids used to really love them, even though they're so simple. So they're cards and they come with these beautiful dyed laces and they're very thick cardboard. And you tie a knot and then you just like go in and out and around. It's just a simple thing, but kids can sit there for a long time playing with them and they're very satisfying and they're just made really in a nice way. So they have a very good feeling when you got them in your hand. So that's one. So that's the end of the Good Deeds part. And then I did this other one, which kind of is going to segue into our arts and crafts, which was something that a lot of people were asking for. A lot of our stores were asking for last season. So this one is a lacing card, but it's a little bit different. These are geometric shapes, and it could be for even a slightly older kid. And I'll show you what these guys look like because they're kind of different. They're much bigger. I mean, they're big and they're printed on two sides. And the holes are much bigger. So when you get your laces, you can see what, like, I don't know if you can see how beautiful these colors are, but they're just like really beautiful colors that we picked. You can go in and out and you can make patterns within each of these shapes. And because the holes are bigger, you can go in and out of them with more than one thread. And so it's sort of a stem geometry hand-eye coordination activity that's a little bit of a higher level than the regular lacing card. So those are the shapes and patterns lacing cards. And beautifully designed. Oh, just here on the back, you can see how different kinds of patterns and the way you could do that. Sorry, I'm talking a lot. Well, I'm racing through this stuff, but people, like I said, have been asking for arts and crafts stuff. We had this origami paper a long time ago that I thought was so beautifully designed that Fumiya Tanaka, who's our in-house designer, made all the patterns for. For whatever, they didn't really pick up, but we're doing these now in a much clearer package, and with all of these totally original, beautiful designs. And the package opens up like this, and it's a place where you can store the papers, but it's also got instructions for multiple activities, like the ubiquitous crane and the tiny hat and lots of other really nice things. And we have them, we did two styles. We did flower patterns and we did what we called fun patterns. And they're all, like I said, all original patterns, and there are tons of different styles. So those are origami papers, and we hope that these are clear, but we found that people really like them so far, so I'm hopeful. Then we did a whole bunch more pencils. We have a great new pencil factory that we think makes, I always thought our quality of our pencils was great, but I think this new factory is even better. So we've done some really nice new pencils because people were asking us. So we did some adult styles or crossover styles. We did Dutch Sampler by Nissa McCool. And this one is really wonderful because these are half of them, 12 of them are fluorescent colors and 12 of them are metallic colors. And the metallic ones are great and the fluorescent ones are great. Sometimes you get fluorescent pencils that are kind of weaky and not very satisfying, but not these. The eeBoo ones are really, really good. The quality is great. And this is our signature thing where we print, you know, our pencils with this crazy silver foil that's like very special. So you can always tell it's an eeBoo pencil. Then we did Bountiful Garden, which was another style of puzzle that people really liked. So these are 24 pencils, just straight 24 great colors with the great coverage. This is Monica Forsberg, Bountiful Garden. And this is English Cottage because people just loved this piece of art, and the pencils are really, really nice and not expensive. And the pad has great paper in it. And so this is English Cottage. Then I started to work with, this year, a new illustrator named Tamar Dovrat, who's from Israel. And we did two new styles with her. This one is called, are they caught? Oh, okay. This is the, it's called Birds and Hearts. And this design, inside the hearts are all medieval flowers that are identified with different virtues, like love and friendship. And these are the pencils. They're fluorescent, 12 fluorescent colors in this little pack at a very reasonable price. Together, it's a beautiful little gift. And last but not least, another thing that people said found were trending, which I think is wonderful because who doesn't like them, but were strawberries. So these are coming in soon. This is a beautiful strawberry design by Tamar Dovrat, and then this beautiful set of 12 artist pencils. These are double-sided, so you get actually 24 colors. There are 12 pencils, but 24 colors, but 12 pencils. So each side of the pencil has a different color. And these are strawberries by Tamar Dovrat, and will look beautiful together. And then we did last two styles for littler kids with fatter pencils. So these are double-sided, just regular colors, just 12 regular colors, but with a bigger hexagonal barrel and raw wood and stripes, and an Under the Sea sketchbook. These are by Linda Black. And lots of detail and really good for people that live near the sea or people that don't live near the sea, people that like whales. These are really nice. And last, I love this. I love these. I would have gone nuts for these when I was little. These are 12 pencils. I mean, these are 6 pencils, but half of them are fluorescent on the top, and on the bottom half, they're metallic. So they're fluorescent metallic mixes. This is a round barrel. I don't know. I find these so satisfying, these pencils, and the color, because the lead is so fat, you get such good coverage with them. This is Rainforest by Linda Black, and this is the sketchbook. So this is another really beautiful set for zoos or anybody that's got an eco thing going, or just, you know, sloth. There's a sloth in there. There's a tapir. There's a wonderful birds. So this is really nice. This is Rainforest. A format that we haven't done in a long time, but I thought we could really add to this season. Like sometimes I don't add to a category because I don't think I have anything really that's going to improve the situation. This year, I really felt like we did. I used Tamar Dovrat's art to make new journals. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's got a magenta foil in it, and it's really, really beautiful. And on the back, there's a really nice quote. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. It's an Emily Dickinson quote, and it's got a beautiful stamped spine. Is that right, set up? And then we did a strawberry journal, which I also think is really beautiful. In this one, it says, in summer, the song sings itself, which is the William Carlos Williams quote. And like I said, it's got this beautiful red foil stamped on the spine and all over the top. And last, we have the skateboarders. But this one, they're all girl skateboarders. And on the back, it's part of the image. And this one says, no kind action ever stops with itself. One kind action leads to another. And that is Amelia Earhart's quote. And this is also foil stamp, but with a really bright, beautiful, iridescent silver. So those are the 3 new journals. So that's the end of our stationery and arts and crafts section. Just a few more things to go, don't worry. This is a game called iSpectro. This is our first attempt at kind of an aged up game, but with a lot of eeBoo things. This is something that can be played in different ways with different age people. You can play this game, which is a little like dominoes, where you've got triangular pieces, and each of the pieces has a number on them from 1 to 36. And you have the color spectrum on the back where you show how everything is identified. So 36 is next to 35. It shows how all the colors go around the color wheel, each with a sequential number. So you're trying to match these triangles up next to one another, and you're trying to find a perfect match. But if you don't get a perfect match, let's say you're 1 or 2 or 3 off, which is all you can be, your opponent or the other people playing get the difference. They get the points that are the difference in the numbers that you put down. And when you build these things on a table, what you get is these beautiful, because not everything fits perfectly, not all the yellows fit next to the yellows perfectly. You get these wonderful modulating patterns that look like they have dimensionality to them. And you can play this game with a little kid. There's a way of pulling out, some of the pieces have a blue background and some of them have a multicolored background. You can pull out the blue pieces and just play with the blue pieces, which makes it a shorter game. Or you play it, you know, with the multicolor, you play with all the pieces together, and that's the longer game. And you can play it with no strategy at all. You can play it just with a kid that's learning their numbers, or you can play it with a bunch of drunk teenagers for money or for beer. And we've had everybody at eeBoo basically play this game, and everybody really likes it. It's very simple, but like I said, you can do it strategically, and you can play roughly, or you can play cooperatively. Liz played this game quite a bit. I don't know, I'm really proud of it. I think it's really nice. This is available in August, and it has a score pad. And I found that when I took the photographs for this game at this photo shoot I did, I had about like 10-year-olds playing it, 11-year-olds, and they really liked it because the scoring, even though it's complicated and you have to keep adding, it's pretty easy because it's like 3, 4, 6. And the score pad is really nice, and you keep the score as you're running. And there are 4 score pads, whatever. I think it's a really fun and interesting game, and it's got this nice little bag, and you can put the stuff in it, and it's all foil stamped, so it's quite snazzy. Okay, this is a game that my husband got worked out in our barn. It's called Penguins Rock, and it's really a very funny, sweet game. This is the board. It's 4 little nests. It's the Gentoo penguins. This is the back, beautiful, illustrated by Linda Black. And the idea is that everybody gets these little penguins. And they move around and they're trying to collect rocks. So they go to these rock piles, you spin it, you have a dice, which is our own little like special eeBoo light blue ice colored dice with silver stamping. And you move your little penguin, you get 2 penguins actually, because this is what the point of the game was. There's this penguin activity that's extremely cute, I think, which is that these penguins mate, and the way they find their partners, which are not always heterosexual partnerships, but the way they find their partner is one of them goes out and picks a rock. I don't know what goes on in a penguin's head when they're picking a rock, but they have like a thing where they pick a rock that they like out of like 1 billion rocks, and they bring it back to the other penguin. And if this penguin likes this person's rock, then they make a nest together. So that's basically the idea of the game. That the first you don't roll your dice. Everyone gets 2 penguins, a 1 and a 2, and your first penguin goes out and gets a rock. And when they get to the rock pile, they pick a rock from many different ones. But just like a penguin, you get to pick the rock that you like, and they're like beautiful, beautiful rocks, each one painted differently. So that you pick, just like the penguin, you pick a rock, you put the rock in your little slots, you go back, up, 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 you drop your rock, and then the next turn, if you get it into your nest, is then you get 2 turns with the dice, and both your penguins go out, and so you're racing against other pairs of penguins trying to fill their nest up with rocks. It's a very cute game, and it's based on a real natural history thing. This is very sweet. So that's Penguins Rock. Very fun, and it's a good toy group.
Yep.
It will be if any of you are going to be at Astra, we'll be at game night playing this. Very cute. And then we have, it's kind of just squished in the middle here, but as many of you know, this is one of our best-selling formats. This is create a story cards, 36 images, basically loosely based around a series of characters. In this case, we got a wonderful illustrator, Ute Krugman, who's German, to do these really, really sweet images. And the story is based around this little bunny and this little bear and this funny little guy that they meet, and also a little bird. And they meet this funny little green guy, but you don't really know what's going on in any of them. But they have a birthday party, which happens in all of my things, and they get into adventures. And there's a dog that can possibly a mischievous dog, and it's a little bit younger than our other Create a Story cards. So I think even like a 3-year-old or even a 2-year-old could play with these, and they're very, very sweet, and I love them. So that's Create a Story, Very Busy Day by Ute Krugman. And getting on our last things, this is a classic, like what they would call like a heritage or classic eeBoo format. This is a language bingo, but this is a 4-language bingo, so our most ambitious language bingo game so far. This game plays like all of our other bingo games, where you get, you distribute cards. One card has numbers, one card has colors, one has vegetables, one has phrases, one has vehicles, and one has clothing. And players pick, and let's say they get this car, and on the back, if they, before that, you have to choose with a coin what language you're going to play in. So you get to choose whether you're going to play in French, German, Spanish, Mandarin, Spanish, French, or German. So you can either decide, because you just decide you want to do it in German, or you can close your eyes and pick one and have to do it. So if you pick car, if you have the vehicles sheet, before you get to put it on your card, you have to say the word in the language that you're playing the game in. And there's a really, really good, very thoughtful, very carefully constructed pronunciation guide. So you need to play with somebody that's can read. So, and it doesn't guarantee that you're going to pronounce everything perfectly, but it's a pretty good phonetic description of how to say the word. But it's very bright and pretty, and it's about as nice a way to learn a whole bunch of words in a different language as possible. And if you played this game once, you would learn a bunch of words in one language. And if you played it over and over again, you could learn a whole bunch of words in a whole bunch of different languages. And that's a really fun and interesting thing. So that's for language bingo, and that's Monica Forsberg. And last but not least, we've done, this is kind of our signature product, memory games. Other people do them, but I think we do them really, really nicely. And this is our special one for holiday this season. It's called Woodlands. It's by Monica Forsberg. And this also came up as a trend meeting because woodlands are very popular now. I don't know if you can see that this has a copper foil on it, and it's really beautiful. And all the pieces have copper foil. And so they're really shiny and pretty. And they have a little elf guy, like a little northern, what is gnome? A gnome, elf, gnome. But they're just extremely decorative and very beautiful. And on the shelf, this thing, like, it glows like it's got a light coming out from the inside. So we've had a very, very good reaction to this so far for holiday. So that basically that is our list. That is our list for holiday, but there were a few things that I just wanted to point out from our last list that I feel that were either bestsellers, like this little baseball game, which is a card game, and it plays like the game of baseball. And it comes with a little piece of paper, like a little baseball diamond, and you lay it down and you play it just like baseball, where you're turning you're on a team and you turn your cards over and you play with like a penny or a jelly bean or something, and you move your team around. It's very simple, but it's been a really, really good seller for us this year, and they're available and they're perfect for summer. So that's baseball card games. We did this health and safety set of cards, which are like our other conversation cards, like where they tell you a situation on the front and kind of the proper response. So I was saying to people earlier when this came out, but I'll repeat it, that this had been very unnerving and potentially very scary times for a lot of kids, even if they're not, everyone has been directly affected by COVID and all the changes with school and stuff. And I think when kids have a sense of control over the basic things around them, and they know kind of the rules of safety and procedure and kind of like the rules of their universe, I think it makes them feel safer. Sorry if you've heard this before, but my twins, my two younger kids, their first day of kindergarten was 9/11 in New York City. And I really know from experience that having a sense of things that they know could keep them safe made them feel safer overall for those years where everyone was pretty traumatized. So these are health and safety flashcards. I don't know how much people know about them, but they're really good. And you don't have to do all of them with your kids, but some of them, and it's very helpful, I think. And not heavy at all, not heavy, just like basic and nice. Then this, I'm sure most of you guys know it if you've seen our stuff. These are these cat dominoes I mentioned before. These have just done really, really well. They're a good toy group choice. They're inexpensive. The quality is like unparalleled. They're just like super thick. They're not made out of wood, but one of the most satisfying things about dominoes is the click that they make when you put them together. That's kind of one of their signature things, the most fun thing about dominoes. And our board is so thick that it actually does make that wood sound. So, but they're all recycled and FSC paper. And they've got this wonderful, they're in this great decorative box. So if you don't know about this, you probably should. And then last but not least is this really elaborate and complicated, but extremely useful and important activity that we did that didn't come out until April of this year because of various shipping issues from China. But this is called pattern recognition, and recognizing patterns and being able to build patterns in your mind or anticipate patterns is like the building block of almost everything that you do in your life. Creative endeavors or technical endeavors or scientific, which is also very creative. But the idea is that you get, is it open? It's not open, but I can show you on the back. There's a little tray, like a little cardboard tray with sides, like almost like a tray puzzle. And you get all these chips with different shapes on them. And then you get, there's a whole stack of patterns, and some of the pieces of the pattern are missing. And they're not easy, but they're sort of simple, medium, and hard patterns. And there's a very good guide to how those patterns are put together. So the kid gets the strip and they get the pieces, and they have to use they have to use the available pieces to build that pattern on that they see on the strip, but complete it. And then there's a very good parent guide that explains this is like, if you were to have like a circle, a square, a circle, a square, a circle, a square, that would be an A, B pattern. That's about as simple as you can get. But it explains what that pattern is, and then all the different patterns getting to be ones that are actually quite hard. But I think it's very, very well thought out. And it's just a really good practice. And I think kids like it. And I think if they played with it, they would really learn a lot about recognizing patterns. So it's one of those games that we tried to make as really beautiful as possible and as graphic. We mixed in images as well as shapes and really beautiful colors to make learning this skill into something that was fun to do. So that's pattern recognition. And I just wanted to point that out because I didn't want it to get missed. So I think, is that it? So that's it. That's like 60 things. So I haven't been paying attention to what any of the things in the chat, but if anybody has any questions, either about terms or sales or anything or about product or artists or anything, you can ask me or Alex.
Liz, do we have any questions that we want?
Yeah, I had a few things that I just pulled out of the chat. Some of them people wanted to see a few things, like, is there a way we could open a journal so that people wanted to see the pages of the journal?
Funny you should ask that. So they'll have really nice end papers. It says this book belongs to. And then just lined paper, each with a different tint. And then it has a lock and a key. And my son was horrified, and he came over to me when he was little and he said, did you know that this key opens like all of them? I didn't know all of them. He was like, this one opens Elodie's diary. I was like, sorry, guilty. So this is the birds. This is the end paper. It's got a pretty pale blue page. And we didn't open the strawberry, but it's got a light pink page with red printing and a very pretty end paper. Next.
And someone was asking, I know we already opened the other lacing cards, but do you have the original lacing cards open so we can see the boards?
Totally. Sorry, we just. Belly band, so we don't have to shrink wrap them. Paper belly band. And all the backs are different stripes. Which, you know, we don't necessarily have to do that, but I think it's really fun when you can see them all like that. And they have a really cute pattern on them. And then these beautiful color laces that are just like, these laces take the dye really beautifully, I think. So they're really rich colors. And they're kind of also biscuit cut. All of our product, just to mention this, all of our product comes with this little thing inside, and it's a little kind of brand description that tells a little bit how a curriculum for the whole child, how we do the different types of products and tactile motor skills, practical quantitative skills, social and emotional literacy, social imagination play, storytelling, visual literacy and creativity, problem solving and cooperation, and pre-reading activities. So anyone that gets an eeBoo product, and then just a little example of some of our things on the back, just in case you were wondering.
And then Alex, you probably know this. If not, I'll drop it in the chat. Someone was asking what the TGTG items are.
Yep, so we can drop that in the chat, Ashley, if you want to just copy and paste and include the autumn selection as well as holiday, along with the special that we're offering.
But I think it's Penguins Rock and
No, Penguins Rock is what we're playing at Astro.
that's what we're playing at
Yeah.
Astro. So it's Cats Dominoes.
It's cats. I'm being put on the spot.
Okay, sorry.
It's woodland matching.
Woodland
matchings
matching.
in the holiday.
Excellent
catalog.
selection.
Cat dominoes.
Isn't it the puzzles too? The Happy Holiday?
The
Magical Amsterdam.
Magical Amsterdam, and it's one more.
But it will the correct. answer
chat.
to that question will be in the chat. The real one.
And
So-
then, oh, go ahead, yeah.
Did anyone say what they liked? I was just curious.
Yes, yeah. So the other thing, I was gonna go back and explain some few things, but the other thing that I found out interesting is when we were talking about other suggestions of the love of, someone also said snakes, and I know that came up during our trend meeting, so we did talk about snakes. Mindy, I believe, suggested bugs, which we did also talk about bugs in the trend meeting. And someone else said possums, which would be cute because there's also raccoons and other weird cutesy things that kind of get
And they're definitely,
poo-pooed
trending,
on.
at least on my feed, they must know that I love raccoons and possums because all I get is that stuff.
Yes, and then someone also asked, I know we don't have any for this season, but someone was asking if we would add more pretend play boxes like the school and the vet and the world traveler, if we have any ideas.
I totally love them, and we do always have them on our list. Yeah, we just had so much stuff this season that we didn't add another one. But yeah, we're always thinking of that. I think those are great. And the ones we have are great.
And then going back through the chat to see what people were super excited about. Everyone is obviously very excited about lacing cards. I'm also very happy to have those back because I feel like it's a super easy sell in a store and kids always need them. And then someone really enjoyed the good deeds puzzle, the bees. Everyone is very appreciative of the bees and the mushrooms. Lots of mushroom love. And the moth love, and people are excited about the new green bags as well.
Good. Well, thank you, everybody. You know, you're always welcome to reach out to us at any time, and any of us, and with suggestions or opinions, as
And-
you all do.
And we hope to see some of you at Astra, which we will be attending next week. And we'll also be at the New York Now show this summer. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of your faces in person.
And Alex will be in Dallas.
I'll be in Dallas. I'll be popping around in the showroom, so.
Yay.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great summer. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.